Okay, so I bet all you guys are wondering, why did they bring Dr. Quinn for our graduation today? Well, the cool thing is, I actually sat in you all seats many years ago. I started out as a medical assistant working at the Baptist Hospital. And when I first learned that I was going to have this opportunity, I asked myself, what information could I share with you guys that would actually be helpful? The first thing that came to my mind was, I wish I knew then what I know now. But then I realized most of the knowledge I have now was gained from my own life experiences. So what I decided to do is share some of my life experiences with you all to help you gain knowledge. Now, there are 3 principles that I want to share. The first principle is you have to learn to unlock your true potential. The second, you have to stay humble. And the third, don't give up. Stay persistent. Now, unlocking your true potential. Believe it or not, when I was in high school, I was not a model student. I barely graduated. But what happened was, I didn't really study, I didn't apply myself because I didn't understand that it was important and I was not at my potential. But what happened was, when I was in high school, I went and visited my cousin at Alcorn University, and my cousin was a freshman. We had a good time. We partied, there's some beautiful ladies there. All I remember is going back to Macomb, Mississippi and telling my mom, Mama, your baby is going to college. She was so excited. She signed me up for the ACT. I took it, but I didn't prepare. Went out partying the night before, in all out honesty, and performed very poorly. But I did get accepted to college on academic probation. Now, reality kicked in, and I had to figure out how I was going to pay for college. So I joined the Army National Guard. I saw some of my Army buddies stand up. Can I get a hoo-ah? Now, here's the deal. The Army National Guard allows you to take a test called the ASVAB. And this test sort of gives you an idea of how well you can perform in the military. Believe it or not, I scored very high on the ASVAB. So they scheduled me for the medical section of the military to work in the medical field. I left for basic training, which was physical, and I did really well because, I ran track, I played football in the hot sun of Mississippi, so that was not a problem. But then the war kicked in, Desert Storm War, and my unit got deployed. So I had to postpone going to college and go ahead and do my military skill training in the medical field in San Antonio, Texas. Now, this was my first time away from home unsupervised. And as I did before, the party was on. Having a great time. But toward the end of the first part of the course, I met with my commander. And he informed me, he said, Quinn, you're not going to make it, son. We're going to go ahead and transfer you to Fort Benning, and we'll put you in the infantry division, and we'll go ahead and send you to the Middle East on the front line so you can, fight on the front. He just kept talking, but I couldn't hear nothing he was saying. Because all I heard was, you're going to die, brother. It's all over for you. So I begged him, I said, please give me one more chance. Let me start over. And he did. He said, we're going to give you one last chance. So I started with the next class coming in. And basically, I went straight to the study hall every day. I would even go to the study hall before class. Stay after class, meet with the professors. The first test, 100. Second test, 100. Everybody was mad because I was messing up the curve. But the bottom line is I graduated at the top of my class. And I learned to unlock my true potential, and I learned that the key was hard work and dedication. I ended up going to college after the war ended on academic probation, but graduated with academic honors, earning a seat into medical school. Now let's talk about the second principle. You have to stay humble. I remember my grandma used to say, Timmy, stay Timmy. Even when I graduated medical school, I had my chest out. You ain't nobody but Timmy. Stay Timmy. And I didn't really know what she meant, but I learned very quickly. I remember going to medical school in Nashville, Tennessee, and arriving and walking on campus and looking around and thinking, I'm the man. I made straight A's. I'm going to make straight A's, and I'll be the best student they have. They're lucky to have me. Well, medical school is like someone going to the professional football league. Maybe at USM or LSU or Jackson State, they might have been the best running back in the whole state. I mean, running over folks, just killing them. But then they get in the NFL and they might suffer a little bit because everybody in the NFL is a superstar. Well, early on I learned medical school is pretty much the same deal. You might have done well in college, but when you get to medical school, it's a whole nother level of competition. Well, I remember meeting with the dean maybe after the first semester, and he said, Quinn, you're not going to make it. I heard it again. But the deal is, I wasn't even listening to him. He told me, that I was not going to the study halls. I was not meeting with the study groups. I was not participating in class. Sometimes I didn't show up, and I just didn't want to hear. I said, I'm going to go back to my apartment, sir. And I went back to my apartment. I remember calling my dad. I said, Daddy, these people are crazy. They don't know who I am. I said, they don't even understand what they have. And, I kept talking. He said, son, just shut up. Go look in the mirror and come back to the phone. So I went and looked in the mirror and went back to the phone, and he said, son, the guy you saw in the mirror is the guy that's going to break you. That's the guy that's going to send you back to Mississippi without a medical degree and a lot of debt. And I thought about it. He's right. I'm lucky to be here. Basically, I changed my attitude. And the minute I changed my attitude, everything changed. I started going to the study groups. I went and met with the teachers and asked them, were there any opportunities to do extra work? I met with the other students. I did everything that I could do. And as a result, I graduated. I learned to stay humble. And because of that, I was successful. Let's talk about the last principle. Now, on this principle, I'm actually going to use my daughter. Because as a dad, you want to teach your children the skills early on so they won't make the same mistakes that you did. And this scenario, it really made me feel good. My daughter wanted to be a cheerleader. So about 2 months before the tryouts, we learned that the other girls were getting private lessons. So she wanted private lessons. Well, about that time, I had just paid off my car, and I was getting ready to get a new car. But I told my daughter that I would delay my car for 2 months so we could pay for these lessons because they did not come cheap. She had to go 3 days a week to meet with a private tumbling coach that's flips and a form coach, and all this. So, we paid for it. I held off on the car. The day of the tryouts, my daughter and I are together, and we get an email. And the email reads, we regretfully inform that you did not make it. Man, that hurt my feelings so bad. I told my daughter, I said, baby, I got to go for a ride. So I just went I don't even know where I was going. I was just rolling out. And she called me about 5 minutes after I started driving. And she said, Daddy, I want to continue the lessons. I said, for what? You didn't even make it. She said, I'm going to make it next year. When she told me that, I almost drove off the road. But it's a good thing I didn't, because I had to pay for the lessons for a whole nother year. And I tell you, I still don't have a new car. But on Friday nights, I'm cheering for my daughter, the cheerleader. Don't give up. Now, there's a young lady in the graduating class tonight. She volunteered with me at a church, and she said, I want a job with you when I graduate. I said, I don't know now. We'll see. But this young lady, she would show up early. She'd stay late. She would talk to the people. Everybody was ready to go. She was ready to stay. I even had to tell her, I got to go. I want you to stand up. Maria Maisie. Stand up. We did not have a job for this young lady. We did not have a job for this young lady. But she was so persistent. She would not give up. She would send me messages, got a job, you know, she even wanted to come volunteer. So we had to make a job for her. She did not give up. The bottom line is, if you can apply these principles to your future endeavors, unlock your true potential, do everything you can to succeed, stay humble, don't get too big, and be persistent. There are going to be times that it's going to seem as if life is just coming at you with a wrecking ball. And a lot of things are not going to go your way. Situations are going to be less than optimal. But if you take those poundings, those shortcomings as lessons, look at it as preparation to be stronger, you will succeed. I want to congratulate you guys, and I look forward to all the success that you all will have. Thank you very much.